Hello everyone, it's Micah. It just occurred to me that on my first video back yesterday that I didn't edit out the first couple of seconds where I'm awkwardly waiting to start. I'm used to editing out the first few seconds, and so if I'm not going to edit my videos anymore as I did in yesterday, I'm going to end up looking really odd for a couple of seconds at the beginning of all my videos. So I guess that'll happen again tonight or today if I don't edit this. Anyway, technical stuff. As you can see, I have very high technical standards here. Um, Welcome, and we're going to continue our journey through the number one songs of the 1980s. Um, I really just started back. This is my second video, but I'm going to try to just pick up where I left off. And so, welcome to my reactionless videos. I've determined that that's really the way for me to go because y'all looking at me sitting stone faced through 4 minutes of something you could just look up and watch yourself is not really entertainment, and it also invites copyright issues and wouldn't make me any money if by chance a few 100,000 people decided they wanted to watch it. So, welcome to Reactionless videos. It's the theme of the channel is still make music better. I kind of dropped my tagline yesterday. I'm a little rusty, but at the end of the day, what I'm really trying to do is provide my personal take on things. It's not going to necessarily be rocket science. It's not even necessarily going to be on target, and there's very little chance that you're going to agree with it 100% regardless. In fact, I just got through reading one of my comment. It's actually a few months old at this point on one of my videos where they said that I was being obtuse, and yes, sometimes I will be obtuse, but just remember the flip side of of someone being obtuse is the person observing them being obtuse is being overly familiar with something. Uh, Things don't present as obviously when you're not as well acquainted with the music. That's not really to the point here because we are now hitting the stride. We're now hitting the real stride of the 80s that I know about. So I am starting to get very familiar with the songs that I am reacting to. And today we're going to be reacting to Africa by Toto. This was a number one hit for 1 week in February of 1983. And the cultural impact of this song is enormous. I'm pretty sure nobody, when they notched their 1 week at number one, thought that 4 decades later this song would be everywhere and a very vital part of the social discourse. Yet here we are. So my reaction will be by necessity a bit duplicative, redundant, because everything that's ever needed to be said about this song has probably already been said. But for what it's worth, here's what I think about it. So, first off, the instrumentation, the arrangement. One thing I love about a lot of 80s music, and this goes for the song that I reacted to yesterday, which was Down Under by Men at Work, was that the arrangements were not phoned in ever. There was a very particular mix of instrumentation and a very particular sound that went into so many of the records that were released in the 80s that made them almost one of a kind, each one of them. And although Toto had a general style, I will say that that style was almost elusive. It's very difficult to nail down what they're doing here with the arrangement because it sounds kind of like a rock song, but the guitars are very muted here. You could call it a pop song, but there's a propulsiveness to it that makes it seem more, not really an insult, but if you're more of a rock fan and you claim that you don't like pop music, the beat here would drive you to classify it that way as well. There are also probably elements of jazz, R&B. I mean, and I think that's the consummate musicianship of the band is one of their calling cards. And although I'm not as much of not enough of a musician or a music theorist to be able to delve into the intricacies of what they do, both in this song and in their catalog at large, in terms of musicianship, you can definitely hear the end result. there's something really magical about the way the song progresses throughout. The chord changes, the way that the lilting vocals and the underlying guitar and keyboard parts make you feel as they float in and out of the arrangement. It's a very wistful kind of mood that this record brings. And there was a subcategory, and you would probably call it yacht rock, but I don't think that all yacht rock gives me this feeling. But there are some particular artists that I would name: Toto, this song in particular, also Joe Jackson and Christopher Cross. There's something that sounds ethereal and almost magical and mystical about the songs that they put out. Gauzy is a word that comes to mind, where the song is upbeat in a way, but it's also melancholy in a way, bittersweet. You could call it that. There's all these it's all these feelings kind of on top of each other. It almost makes you feel nostalgic for the song. Like, not just at this point, the songs are 40 years old, so of course they're going to evoke nostalgia, but even at the time there was something incredibly wistful about them that almost gave you instant nostalgia, which I think is part of their cachet. So, and this song is probably the apex of that kind of musical achievement in pop music, where you have this aching, kind of earnest, kind of gauzy instrumentation that really sort of draws you in despite your best efforts. And as far as I'm concerned, other than the instrumentation, they really did pull out all the stops to make you hate this song. I don't want to step in it right now, but I guess I'm going to anyway. For those of you who are fans of the lyrics of the song, this is a horribly written song. It's just like the lyric-wise. The lyrics of the song are horrifically bad. Horrifically bad. Like, do the things we never had. That's a verb and tense mismatch that really should have been on the cutting room floor, like after the first draft of the song. I don't know if there's some sort of artistic intent behind saying something so jarringly non-grammatical as that, but it just doesn't really serve any purpose, and it just is an extremely syntactically confusing sentence. The way that they jam the big words and the place names into the meter of the jam, that, like, they don't even really use a meter. It's like, let's see whatever way we can cram Kilimanjaro and Serengeti into this song, even though it has nothing to do with the flow of the song. Like, I really dislike when lyrics are not synchronized with the beat of the song, and they really just sort of shoved them in here, shoehorned them into the song. This lovely arrangement and these very awkward, unwieldy lyrics around them. There was one other lyric in there that it's not coming directly to mind right now because I have a hard time talking and thinking at the same time. But you get the point. It's a really lyrically weird song, and that's being charitable. The overall feel of it, and a lot of songs in the 80s, and I guess throughout popular music, or at least dating back to the 60s, a lot of songs were, I mean, for a while the excuse was, oh, it's psychedelic. But nonsensical is more along the lines of it. But it's like people say a bunch of lyrics, they don't even really know what they mean. They may have been under the influence of something when they said those things, when they wrote those things down initially. And sometimes people write down nonsense to fill in the blanks while they're pulling together the song, and then when they actually record it, they don't bother to clean it up at all. And that's a whole lot of what seems to be happening here. However, I will say that I've not done any deep dive analysis on what the different aspects of the lyrics could possibly mean. So I do think I read one really in-depth article about the song, and I don't remember exactly what all that analysis had to say about the lyrics, but I don't think it's really worth looking into that deeply. There's the notion of a good idea for a song here, but the execution, in my opinion, is pretty poor. So the lyrics are cheesy. Um, the whole cultural appropriation, or however you want to call that, I feel like even in the 80s, that this song probably came off as a little bit problematic. And one bright spot, even though the music video is obviously cheesy by today's standards, I think the music video actually elevates the lyric in some ways. For one thing, they actually put some effort into the video. They do cuts and between like similar images in different contexts in the video. They have the set piece of the giant book that they're performing on top of, that's sitting in the library. This is a replica of the book that's sitting on the table in the library that the lady is sitting at and studying. The one thing that I do think that is very interesting from a cultural or anthropological standpoint, or like I don't know exactly how to classify, or just a social commentary standpoint, is I feel like the video contextualizes the way in which Africa is used in the record, and it sort of softens the kind of, oh, this is Africa. It's an exotic land with all these wild things happening, and obviously that's part of the stereotypes that proliferate about Africa. There is obviously the tribal looking man in the video who throws a spear. I mean, nothing is more stereotypical African than a half naked black man throwing a spear. So obviously that's a little cringy, but I think that together with the set pieces, with the fact that Africa is shown literally depicted on a globe, they just do a close-up of a globe, and the fact that they set a large part of the video, if not the whole video, inside a library, and there's a focus on reading about it in books. There's a sense of separation from what Africa really is, which to me indicates that they were very aware of the fact that they're romanticizing it and giving a secondhand account of how they're imagining it to be and correlating it to the feelings that they have. So they're using it as a sort of almost like a literary reference in the song, not a literal one, and they're backing that up with the way that they're presenting the visuals that go with it. And it's almost like, yeah, we understand that this is kind of a cheesy, that this is a cheesy, stereotypical way of depicting the continent, but this is what we know, and this is what we've been exposed to, and therefore this is what you're going to get. So this is not a documentary song about how Africa is. It's a comparison song, like it's an analogy to sort of that's based on the admittedly stereotypical images that we know about it. And it's weird that they would fixate on Africa to such a point that it would be the title of the song. And that's the part that, again, with the lyrics of the song are a little off kilter, and that to me, it's like, why is Africa the point of the song? Why is that the most important theme in the song, which is really a love song? It's like a reference point, and I guess it's a metaphor, and maybe that's where the real strength of the song lies. Maybe there's a metaphor. Maybe he's saying that he doesn't really understand the relationship, and it's just sort of this kind of foreign concept in the same way that people exoticize or romanticize places in the world that they don't understand. Maybe that's how that's the sort of mindsets or the sort of ways that people think about those things in romantic relationships, because if you've never been in one, or you've never been in a stable one, maybe you'd apply all these grandiose images to it in the same way. I mean, that's the only way I can kind of piece together the iconography of the video and the off kilter and to me poorly written lyrics in places, and then contextualize it with such a very accomplished band as Toto. So yeah, those are a few of my thoughts on it. The song apparently is never going to die. There's something about it that is deeply, deeply compelling, and deeply cheesy, which I think gives it its own life in a very different way. So it's almost like it survives in two different spheres. You make fun of it, but then you secretly love it, or maybe not so secretly love it. And I think it's a solid record. I never don't enjoy listening to it. And it was good to revisit it, but I'm eager to move on to the next number one song of the 80s. Next time will be Baby Come to Me by Patty Austin, James Ingram, if I'm remembering correctly. If not, I won't edit it out. I'll just let you see my mistake. All right, until next time, please make music better.